bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnek, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Laura Thrall. She's president and CEO for the United Way of Metropolitan Chicago. Today, we're going to be talking about the mission of this year's United Way campaign. Laura, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks
and congratulations on your relatively new role.
It's been about 6 months.
All right. Let me take a look at the campaign. You know, it's interesting. United Way, when we get to the seasonal period here, as we're entering the holiday season, everybody thinks about United Way. It's the time to give. It's not just a seasonal thing for you, though.
No, absolutely not. And actually, the way that United Way has really shifted its fundraising model is that we really encourage people to give all year because we're really trying to have more of a long-term relationship with our donors, more so than just the campaign season.
If there is sort of a mantra, if you will, for United Way, and it's Live United,
Absolutely.
And I know that's sort of something tied to the campaign. What does that mean?
You know, we like to think it means that when you give, advocate, and volunteer, you are living united. And people really express that in many different ways, from the way they volunteer in our Days of Caring to the way that they give a percentage of their paycheck in order to fund our programs. So really, living united is giving and participating and being connected to your community.
Let's have a little dose of realism here.
Okay.
Because, again, we continue to be in difficult times,
Yes.
and I don't know how long that's going to go. And if the truth be told, last year was not a banner year for United Way.
No, we were down several $1 million, and so many of our agencies that rely upon our funding to provide programs and services were cut pretty dramatically by United Way. You can imagine with the way the economy turned down last year that many of the corporations that we rely upon for support had many layoffs, they were closing business units, and so our fundraising was down considerably, but we're not going to let that happen this year.
And who knows, and eventually things will turn around. But let's talk about, you know, folks who are watching us now who work for an organization, a company that supports United
Right.
Way. What do you say to them when somebody says, look, we don't even have as many people working here anymore,
Right.
we've downsized, or
Right.
somebody else says, and I've had my salary cut?
Right. You know, we certainly empathize with that, but what we tell people is it's more important than ever to give because while you have had a salary cut or people have been laid off at your business, we know that unemployment in the state of Illinois is about 11%, so many other people don't have jobs at all. And United Way is the second largest funder of health and human services next to the government, supports those programs that support people who are unemployed right now and who really need assistance. So what we, tell people at corporations is, if you've lost several thousand in staff from layoffs, but last year you only had 50% participation, let's try for 100% participation to close that gap of the employees that are no longer there.
You mentioned government funding. Some watching might say, but don't you guys get government funding, so isn't that still there for you the way it's always been?
No, United Way does not receive any money from the government. We, as the second largest funder of health and human services, help close the gap between what the government provides to health and human service providers and what is not provided. So this year, as many people know with our state budget crisis, health and human services providers were cut between 14 and 20% across the board. So it's more important forever that our funding stay on track.
So really it's a 1-2 punch for these services.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about what happens to the money when it comes in. People say, all right, it's going to hurt to give, but it's important to give. Tell me what services this money actually goes to.
United Way really focuses on the things that help people live healthy and independent lives. So we focus on income, education, and health. So when people give money to the United Way, we actually aggregate funding around portfolios of giving that help really move the needle on critical community issues. So it's not just about us fundraising and then giving the money to other organizations. It's really about using that money and our collaboration with government and corporations to really solve critical issues in the community.
This year's campaign, $60 million. Sounds like a reasonable number this year. I mean, it's not a super high number.
Well, it's more than last year, but less than the previous pre-recession year's goal. So we need to be up about 5% over last year to hit that $60 million. We certainly hope we're going to exceed it. David Spear from ITW is our campaign chair, and he's not going to let us not hit it. So we're pretty optimistic.
So the message is this year, even though it may hurt, critical to give to the United Way.
Absolutely. More so than ever.
All right, and we keep the theme together, Live United. Very important. Thanks for being with me, and
Thanks
good
so
luck
much for
this
having
year
me.
and this great season coming up.
Thank you.
This hour's newsmaker has been Laura Thrall for the United Way of Metropolitan Chicago, and I'm Paul Lisnek. If you want more information about the show, all you have to do is go online. You'll find it at newsmakers.tv. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now, back to headline news.